The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Anyway.
That was the force.
That was the force. Anyway, I'm the street-certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado here with you. Hi, everybody. You're here on WPSN99.com, the problem-solving network. I'm here with Kito today because Trinity is gone. He's taking care of some family deals, and the Grasshopper's learning Spanish at school. So I'm here with Kito. Let me show you all who Kito is, those of you that watch this. There's Kito. How you doing, Kito?
Where am I looking?
You're looking right here. Hey, this one right here. There's several, but that's your camera. But oh my God, man! I just, maybe we should ask Trinity if we're even on the air.
Hey, Trinity, are we on the air?
Yeah,
bro?
Trinity, come on, give us a hint, man. Are we even on? Whatever.
Send us a text.
Send us a text, man. Where is that text message stuff? Where is it? I gotta find it. I closed it, man. I started hitting buttons so fast. Did you hear that? Anyway, for all of you that are watching this, that's radio free, man. That's radio, and that's complicated. And when you play your own engineer, this is what you get, Kito. I'm playing my own producer, engineer, and everything. Why do I do that?
Because we need more money.
I used to have it. Yeah, that's right. Send money in. I used to have the producer do all this stuff, and I used to get mad at him when he used to mess up. That's why I did this, by the way. The reason I like control and everything is because I used to get so mad when there would be mess ups, and I didn't have the buttons in front of me to fix it.
You got to let that go, Louis.
It was so hard, bro. I'd want to throw something at the booth.
Well, now you can just throw something
at myself.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, for those of all, I'm just asking, are we on? Anyway, so those of us that are watching, everybody that's watching, hello, how you doing, everybody? That's Kito right there. You're seeing Kito. Kito is the CEO of Serenity Springs Recovery Center. Serenity Springs Recovery Center, right? The brand new CEO. They brought you in from who knows where.
All over the place.
They dug you up.
Too many places.
You were running around the world, saving lives. And Serenity Springs put out a big old help me sign in the air, like an airplane that goes over. That says,
SOS.
2 for 1. And they got a 2 for 1.
They did.
They got the Holtzman clan.
The dynamic duo.
I
wish my better half was here because she's awesome.
Yeah.
She's got a passion for what we do, that's for sure.
She's good at it, man.
She is.
She's good at it. I'm very impressed with her so far. So tell us a little bit about Kito. Tell everybody about you before I go on and on.
Well, I've been in the behavioral health business for over 20 years, in private practice for about 15. Well, no, not quite 15. I was in private practice actually before I got licensed. I had a private practice in Brownsville, Texas, and kind of started as a grassroots kind of recovery type of practice. And it blossomed and grew and worked in that space for quite a while, doing private practice with all walks of life. And then I got lured by a facility that was on South Padre Island to come work there, and we shut down the private practice, and I went to work there for a while, and then I got lured by another facility to do a sort of what I like to call a rehab rescue, and went and did that, and it was fantastic. And I'll just say we got a new CEO at that facility, and it went south real quick. And
that happens.
We had to part ways, and I worked at another facility, and then the marshals had been trying to get me to come here to Serenity Springs for probably about 4 years or so.
Okay.
And they called me. I happened to be in Arizona. Everyone knows I'm a beach bum. And it was an easy decision, but I came and looked at the facility, and it was like this little jewel that is like the best kept secret in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's not a real good thing to be when you're in the treatment industry. You want people to know that.
You want everybody to know you're there.
That's right. So, we're trying to get out there and promote this wonderful, not necessarily promote, but just educate, the country on this beautiful facility that does fantastic work. This isn't a rehab rescue. I got to come here and just take care of this little jewel that was given to me. God was like, here you go, Kito. You can either go back to Central Texas or to New Smyrna Beach.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an easy one, by the way.
I was like, I think Central Texas. Sorry, I love Texas. I love my Texas peeps.
Yeah.
I miss them. But there's something to be said for Kito and the beach. I got to be on the beach, man.
I heard that about you, by the way.
Yeah, and so I'm a beach bum. We're integrating lots of cool things. We get to take the guys surfing. We get to take them to swim with the manatees, kayaking, and on top of that, we do fantastic recovery work and fantastic clinical work. It's a beautiful property, it really is. It's got a lake, and well, you've seen it, Louie. It's just fantastic.
Well, I've been in love with them for a long time. I don't know why I'm sounding so echoish, but I've been in love with them for a long time. I mean, I've been a Serenity Springs fan for a while. Sent a lot of people there through the foundation, through myself, through the station, however they get there. But man, it's gone through some changes, but I think, you've been the most exciting change I've seen, to be honest with you. And that's without trying to make, I'm not trying to make this a commercial for Serenity Springs, because it's not.
Well, and let me just jump in right there, because as, my wife and I both come from addiction very naturally, and recovery not so naturally, but we got it,
Right.
And we come from all angles, children, parents, grandparents, so our goal is to become a resource for people to get to treatment, whether it's Serenity Springs or any other facility that's out there. My wife and I both have extensive knowledge of resources throughout the country, and we get phone calls all the time. And, I'd say 90% of them don't come to the place that I'm working at. And we just want to make sure that people get treatment, and that treatment is available, and if they can't go to treatment, that we find an excellent psychotherapist or a coach or whatever it might be. We just want people to get help and start the road to recovery, whatever that looks like. If they come to Serenity, that's fantastic. If they don't, that's okay too. We just want to be available, and our admissions people know that. Today they answer the phone and just see what's going on. They don't ask what insurance you have in the first 5 minutes, They just see what's going on.
Are you worthy of me speaking to you right now?
They just see what's going on.
Can you even afford treatment?
No, exactly.
So you're not going to do that, right?
We do not do that at all. And we just, as an admissions department at Serenity Springs, they are now trained to become a resource. If we can't get you in with us, we're going to find you that treatment. So we're kind of a one-stop call, one-stop call.
Right.
And we'll work with you, for days if that's what it takes.
Right.
We're not going to hang up on you and not call you back because you're not coming to Serenity Springs.
Right. Right. You know what's funny about that? All right. So I'm going to tell a little tiny side story.
Go for it.
From what you just said, because it was real funny. Because last week we had Peter Shore from Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers on, and as knowledgeable as Peter is, the funny thing was when I got to his phone number, he was like, "Well, I didn't know it was going to be a quiz," and he really didn't know the phone number. He knew he knew everything about the treatment, knew everything about everything that they do. The passion's there, the culture's there, right? But he didn't necessarily know the phone number. And the funny thing is, when we did a live spot with you,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, when you guys sponsored the trip to Bristol, a couple weeks back, I had you live, and I said, "What's the phone number?" And you were like, "Oh man,
really?"
And you didn't know it either.
I didn't. I still don't know.
So the reason I'm telling that story is because I like that, to be honest with you. So here's the main guys, right, of these two places, Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Center, Serenity Springs, and they're so focused on doing the right thing internally to help people, yet it proves they're not marketing.
No.
They're not marketing. They're not out there, hey, call us. They're just like, oh, my God, how do people
Phone
call us?
number? What are you talking about?
I got a department for that. I'm here to talk about how good we are, not necessarily promote a certain phone number. So I thought that was really cool, though. I had to say that because Peter Shore had the same issue.
Well, that makes me feel better. I thought I was the only guy that didn't know the number.
Oh yeah, and that's a good marker.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Peter's way up there. So to be equal par to Peter Shore.
I'll take it, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you should definitely take it. So anyway, so like I said, it's not so people, just because we have a certain program that may join us here on this program, it doesn't mean that it's a commercial for them. But I do like highlighting some of the great things that they do because I want to thank you for being here. And you wouldn't be here if I thought you were a bad program. That's for damn sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen.
No.
So anyway, so let's get into it. We're talking about never giving up today, Kito.
Amen.
And I got to say your name like that now because your wife only says it like that. Kito.
How did you used to say it?
Kito.
No.
I did it like a gringo because that's how, you look at you're like, hell no. Well, it's because I don't make people go Luis.
Louis.
That's right. So, yeah, I was saying Kito, and then she kept on saying Kito. And I was like, why am I doing it the gringo style? And this Caucasian woman.
She's a green guy.
Yeah, sure. She's saying it, the right way. So I switched up. I'm now saying Kito.
Kito.
Exactly. So, Kito, seriously. So never giving up. The reason I want to talk about it is because, again, this morning I get another phone call from somebody who hasn't given up. Mm-hmm. Somebody that is saying, Louis, I want to do it again. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do this again. And so it reminds me that although a lot of people do give up on their loved ones, although a lot of people do give up on themselves, that you can't and you shouldn't. And you don't know when it's going to happen. You don't know when that rehab is going to work. You know what I mean? Like the first thing to me he said was, I don't want to go to another rehab. Mm-hmm. As if that was the problem. Mm-hmm. No, you don't want to go to another jail.
Exactly.
That's how you should have started this conversation.
Absolutely.
And then so when we started talking, he goes, you know what? I don't know where I need to go or what I need to do. I just know I needed to call you.
Right.
And I thought that was really cool. So I wanted to talk a little bit about never giving up today because I always think of that. It's my wife's favorite thing, by the way. I remember when she sent it to me and I put it in my office way back in the day. Remember that bird and that frog is choking the bird?
Yeah.
I like that. Never, ever give up. So speak to me a little bit about that. Like, does that ring true to you? Is that something that you think about?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So, I think, in active addiction, a lot of us give up. We give up even trying to get sober. It's like, you know what, I'm going to quit quitting because I just can't.
Right. Right. Suck at it.
But luckily, there's always someone in our lives that didn't give up on us. Right. And, I think you said something that struck a chord. We never know when that's going to happen. When I like to say when my higher power is going to intervene and let me open up my eyes to the fact that, yeah, I don't really want to go to treatment again, but you know what? I need some separation for a little while because I can't do it out here. Or maybe not. Everyone's different. But I think about the people that didn't give up on me, my wife, and she had real good reason to give up on me. And she, did what she had to do to keep her boundaries in line and leave me. Right. But she didn't give up. She knew the guy that I was, and luckily she didn't go. My parents, oh my God, they should have given up on me when I was about 17. Doing all kinds of crazy things on the border and in Oaxaca and, all over, moving to Hawaii to do some agricultural endeavors. And,
that's a long way to go, bro. You could have just crossed the border. No. I have some friends right there. You didn't have to go to Hawaii,
but
bro.
But the surf's not as good.
Okay.
So it was a multi-pronged approach.
Real men don't need water. We just have beach.
But anyways, there was a time I called them and said, hey, guess what? I got some bail, and y'all want to help me out? And they're like, oh, hell no, if we bail you out. And that was their way of never giving up, though. Right, it's sometimes doing the harder, thing, and standing your ground is actually harder than saying, okay, we'll bail you out again, you know. So, you know, love, I always like to say, has two sides. It's got the giving, compassionate, you know, let's bring it on side, and then it's got the boundaries and the limits, and you've got to have both. And the discipline, you know, that's the part that's got to be there so that it's balanced. But
wait, you just said something right there, so I want to pause you for a second, because you said something that struck a chord with me. You just said their way of not giving up was boundaries, where that just hit me right now, because that is true. The people that have given up do enable.
Absolutely.
The enabling is giving up.
Absolutely.
It's saying that's just the way you are. You're always going to be that way.
Yeah.
You know,
it's easier.
Yeah, it is easier.
It's easier to
that was pretty cool. I just wanted to highlight that real quick, because I think that when you do have good solid boundaries and you're loving yourself enough and loving them enough to hold those boundaries, I think that is saying that if I keep doing this, eventually we can win. Absolutely. This whole thing can be beat. So go ahead. I don't mean to take you off it, but I thought that was really something important that we had to highlight.
That's a little bit of my story, but then I've got, you know, we have 4 kids, and I have a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old who we thought we'd nurture the addiction out of them, you know, and do everything right and by the book, and, you know, everything was fair, and we weren't going to move, and they were going to stay in the same school with the same friends, and, you know, well, nurturing the addiction out of them didn't work, you know.
Yeah.
And there's been times when I'm like, oh, really, God, what am I going to do,
Right.
you know, but I'm not giving up on my kids, you know. My 19-year-old's been to treatment more times than any 19-year-old should go to.
Right.
And he's doing real good right now. He's actually surfing in Oaxaca. He saved up through the summer working at a little surf school, and he's bought himself a ticket, and he went to Oaxaca, and he's surfing with a bunch of pros, and, you know, he's doing great. My 21-year-old's in treatment right now, but I didn't give up. I'm never going to give up, you know. We don't know when that time is going to work, you know. And this is a disease, man. It's not like we're dealing with a choice, you know. When our loved ones can't make good choices, we can't give up, because we have to be able to intervene in a way where we can get them help.
That's right.
You know? And I'm a firm believer in, you know, I mean, I've worked with people that have been to treatment 17 times.
Yeah.
And luckily the family didn't give up. And on that 18th time, you know, I've got several, I mean, really like textbook cases of someone that no one thought would ever get sober.
Oh, yeah.
And they're doing fantastic. 4 years sobriety, 5 years sobriety, manager at so-and-so, you know, as a recovery coach now, and, you know, all kinds of just fantastic stories. And
I think that's the way it always goes, though, Kito. I mean, seriously, I think that the ones that you don't think are going to make it are the ones that make it, because I wouldn't have thought I would have been the one.
Me neither.
You know what I mean? I definitely thought I would have been the one to set the example of death and destruction.
Absolutely.
Because there was, you know, when you're like the leader of the pack, that's kind of everybody's kind of following. There's really there's no incentive to get clean, because when I got clean, all of a sudden nobody's following. Nobody followed me into recovery.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, they all got dropped off on the way here to Florida. They all like fell out back in El Paso from when I came from LA. They weren't coming on this journey.
It's, you know. And the sad thing is that people don't realize how much fun we recovered gentlemen have, you know. You know, a lot of my friends think, oh, it's boring. I'm going to hang around with a bunch of squares. And, you know, we hang around the same knuckleheads. Yeah.
Kumbaya, mi loco.
It's the same knuckleheads I used to hang out with, but they're recovered. And they write inventory, and they talk to their sponsor. Yeah. And it's a great way to live. Right. You know, I want to hang out with people that have, you know, write some inventory and live by spiritual principles.
Right.
And that's a really amazing way to live. And when you're surrounded by people that do that, oh my gosh. Life just gets better and better and better. You know, I went from Beetlejuice, that used to be my nickname.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, you should have told me that. You really shouldn't have told me that.
You like nicknames.
I do love nicknames, bro.
Man.
I might have to give you my own, though. But go ahead.
But anyways, from Beetlejuice to being a recovered gentleman that lives by spiritual principles, and I try and practice those principles across the board with everybody, whether you're out there sweeping the street or you're the CEO of some giant company. You're going to get the same treatment from Kito and my family.
Why didn't you give up on you? Why didn't you give up on you? I mean, because you've had some hard things happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you had every reason to give up on you. And I don't know, and I don't mean to put you on the spot and make you overshare what you want to share, what you feel comfortable sharing.
I'm an open book.
But why did you not give up on you?
I think that I'm lucky in a sense that I have always known that there's something greater than me, a universal power. My God may look different than a lot of people's God, but I've always known that there's something that is driving this universe and making it work. And I've always been able, even in some of the darkest times, I was always able to tap into that and know that life is good.
Right.
And I've got things to do. I've always wanted to help people. I mean, even when I was young.
So you cared about people even then?
Even like in elementary school,
Wow.
I'd hear someone got a divorce and I'd go, oh, let me go talk to them.
Wow.
And share my experience. Even in, it's been kind of like my calling. So I knew that there was a plan for me. I didn't know what it was. Okay. So, there was times like when I lived in Hawaii when things were really dark and, scary, but I knew that there was some beauty out there that was coming, that was around the corner. And that's my experience. I'm sure not everyone, has that experience.
Everybody has a different burning bush, right?
Yeah. And so I don't give up.
On anything.
On anything.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I gave up quitting. Like there was a point when I said, you know what, I'm just going to throw in the towel on trying to get sober and just do whatever the hell happens. But then, I got miserable enough to really do some work, and do what was required, do what I needed to do. Because I knew that life could be really good. And, there were times when I was like, F this, I'm ready to check out.
Yeah.
But I never did.
What's the closest you ever came?
Just driving down the road and seeing a semi, thinking, I could just swerve into that thing. And then, in the depths of my addiction, there was times when I'm sure I was real close, but I didn't know it.
Right.
Just overdosing and that sort of stuff.
Oh my God.
So.
I think that's a very tough question because I don't really know why I didn't give up, other than stubbornness. I mean, if I have to really recall, the mindset I was in, I was very stubborn.
But what about, I don't know that it was even me not giving up. What about, don't you think God was there kind of
I know
up,
for sure, but I didn't call it God at the time, for sure.
I didn't either.
I mean, to be honest with you, for me, you remember The Omen?
Yeah.
Okay, I really related to that in a very bad way. And I really believed I was the Antichrist at the moment. And I know it sounds like stupid, like when I say it now, but there were so many things that I thought about and they would happen, or I dreamt about and they would happen, or I wanted to have happen on someone else and it would happen. And then so then I started saying it out loud. And then, so if you would talk to my childhood friends from back then, or my friends that were around me in those teen years, they started to believe I was possessed because I would say it out loud and it would happen. And so I started believing, oh my God, maybe I am this Antichrist. And so when I chose to stop, I almost took it on that route. Like I have to clean up for a while to conquer and take over in a weird, you know what I mean? Like this really stupid, what do you call that? Just, this grandiosity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was so young with so much power.
Yeah.
In my world.
Yeah.
I mean, Kito, at 15 years old, I was able to go into other states and go in and out of other countries with a lot of power.
I get it.
So when that grandiosity was huge.
But you know what? That was, your higher power's way of getting you hooked.
Oh, it had me hooked.
And then, it got you out.
Right.
And then you were able to see
Right.
the reality and that life is good and it's,
Right.
people are good.
But I didn't like them.
I
hated people. I really did not like them. You know why? Because I looked at everyone like bullies. I was bullied by my brother. And so from that, I hated bullies.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I couldn't really attack him and beat him. But what I could do is I could go out there and attack bullies. And so my love for people came through that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I hated people, and I thought, let me just go attack bullies. But then in time, when I started helping people,
and you get
that reward,
zest,
my God, man. So, I did not know that was going to feel as good as it felt. I mean, look what I do now for a living. Yeah. I had no idea that the high of helping, the high of, being, not selfish, being selfless, you know what I mean, and giving to others was going to be as good as it was. I don't even think you could have explained this.
No, it's impossible to explain. But if you would have tried to get sober thinking that that's the way you needed to be, you wouldn't have done it.
Oh, no way.
You know what I mean?
No, there's no way.
So God worked with you the way you were.
Yeah.
And got you sober.
Totally.
And then the rest happened.
Right. Trust me. I think I had to go into the evil to come out healthy.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because by doing that, I was open to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a bait and switch.
Exactly.
I really thought I was dipping into the evil when in reality it was really the higher power coming in and going, ha ha, it was me all along. Psych. You know what I mean?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. And we can't give up.
Funny.
We can't.
Exactly. So you and I both have really good wives in our life.
Absolutely.
Right? That never gave up on us. But Dana really didn't have to give up because I was already clean and sober when I met her. But I was still acted like an idiot.
Yeah.
It takes a long time.
Well, you still kind of act like an idiot.
Yeah. You got me there.
So who in your life didn't give up on you when you were that
Parents.
evil, beautiful?
Family. No, la familia, man. I'm all about family. And the reason I'm all about family is because there is no way. No way. Dude, I could chop you up in little pieces right now. And I guarantee you the first person to help me bury you and cover up the story will be my mom and dad.
Absolutely.
Now, my brother, I don't know. He's an attorney and probably still won't bail me out. But my mom and dad, my brother would always defend me. There's no possible way ever giving up on me. They would cut me off. They just like you said, they would cut me off. They would say, you can't stay here or you have to leave or I'm not giving you any money and all that stuff. But that's their way of not giving up as well. Mm-hmm. Their way of not giving up is saying, I'm not going to buy into your BS. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. That's not who you are. When you're ready to wake up and be who you really are, come talk to us.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's exactly what needs to happen.
Yeah, big time. I better plug this in. So go ahead and fill the air while I go get my plug, bro. Go ahead.
No, well, I think what we need to do is also, talk about the different pathways. There's a lot of different pathways, but for me, I tried them all. I tried every pathway to sobriety. And, when I was finally desperate enough and I tried doing the work through the 12 steps and tried doing what I needed to do. And I thought I tried, but I really didn't try.
Yeah.
I gave it a half-ass shot and I went to meetings and I really never did the work as it's outlined in that big book of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Right.
And I never thought I was an alcoholic. My family didn't really think I was an alcoholic.
Yeah,
You're
mine
not
either.
an alcoholic. You're just a drug addict, son.
Yeah.
And when I finally
You're
was
just
lying,
a drug addict. Like that's
a good thing.
Yeah.
It's just, well, they wanted me to be able to have some scotch with them and stuff.
Yeah. Chivas.
Yeah, exactly. But when I'm finally lying on the kitchen floor and Dabney's walking out the door and I literally hear this message, go to meetings and do the work.
Right.
It wasn't just go to meetings, it was do the work. And I was like, no, anything but that. I don't want to do the 12 steps. They don't work. But then when I finally was at a meeting and it was such a middle of the road meeting and there was no recovery, no work going on. It was just meeting makers type of meeting. And don't get me wrong, that works for some people, but not for this guy.
Right.
A guy walks in with a big book and the whole meeting's like, oh, here comes Manny. And I was like, what's up? Like, you could feel the room shift. And he starts talking about being recovered. And he starts talking about doing the work fast and furious. And, you know, you don't want to do a step a month. Let's get you doing, you know, your 4-step, 1, 2, and 3, and then do a 4-step. And everyone's like, oh, this guy's crazy. We don't know. So I went and asked him to be my sponsor after that meeting, you know. And, you know,
That's the one you wanted.
I became a recovered gentleman, and now I truly believe in the 12 steps. Now, I also believe in refuge recovery, and, you know, there's some other modalities.
That's weird. You saw the news, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, no, but still, it's good stuff.
The principles are good.
They write inventory. They do. You know, I know Levine. We all are flawed individuals. We're human
that's
beings,
why we should follow Trinity Phillips and the Dharma Guy instead.
Exactly.
He's a little less flawed.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You know, but anyways, there's good stuff out there. I truly, wholeheartedly believe in the 12 steps.
Yeah,
though. They have a way of breaking the delusional cycle that we live in as drug addicts and alcoholics. So.
No, I'm with you, man. You know, and I didn't want to do them either. I mean, to me, it was just real corny, and I hated corny. Man.
Oh, me too.
Oh, my God. I would sit in there, and I'd be like, you guys are like freaks, man. Mm-hmm. You know, you guys are all... And here's my issue with that, and this is, I think, why I speak the way I speak even to this day here on this show and otherwise is it's real hard for every answer that I had. Every question I had came back at me at some little corny statement. And it never sounded like a real conversation. It never sounded like, you know, are you really listening to what I just said, or is every answer going to say pray about it? If everything I'm going to tell you, you're going to say pray about it, or every answer I'm going to tell you, you're going to tell me, well, you know, just, you know, keep coming back. It works if you're working all these little, I got real frustrated. Because I was like, no, I need to know right now, to be honest with you. Give me a little quick answer right now, because, it's, you know, if you would ask me how to flip some bricks, I'm not going to tell you, hey, you know what, go pray about it. You're going to learn how to flip bricks by praying about it. No, you got
to go flip some bricks.
You got to figure out how to put the work in. You know what I mean? You know?
Absolutely.
And so I needed to know that. And then when they go, oh, well, the first steps had me right there. You know, letting go, surrender. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. And they got to start right with the heaviest stuff. For me, the first 3 steps were the hardest.
Oh, my God, yeah.
So it's like, wait, you want me to come out right away? And, you know, he says, you got to hit your knees. I'm like, you know what?
Really?
Dude, really? I mean, the knees?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to... You know, I was raised Catholic. You want me to go in the booth?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No. So it was really tough to get through, to get to 4. And 4 is so damn important. It was real tough to even get there to 4. Mm-hmm. And then when they're saying you gotta want what we have, and I look around the room and I'm like, nah, bro. Some of you got 2 teeth. None of you are driving the vehicle I want to drive. I mean, I lied for the first 4 years of meetings, bro. The first 4 years of meetings, I was Ricardo, Carlos, Julio. I didn't give my real name. I didn't want to interact with these people. There's nothing I saw in there that I want. I have no idea, Kito, why I kept coming back. I really don't. I mean, to this day, I'd have to make it up to you to tell you why I kept coming back. I just know that when I was feeling a certain way or whatever, I'd go. Mm-hmm. And I'd win. But I do know that my wife, Dana, would always know when I went, and she would always compliment me extra when I'd come. She knew that something happened that day that put me in a positive mood. Mm-hmm. And then finally I hit the right meeting. And this is why I tell people, just keep going to a different one. Keep going to a different one. Keep going to a different day. Keep going to a different time. Yeah. And I found the time that worked for me. That noon meeting at this certain place worked for me. Mm-hmm. It was all old men, and I was a real good student for old men. Mm-hmm. I was a real good student to guys that I could say, you know what? You've been around. You've done your deal. I can respect that. You know? And I did. And I started listening to these old men. And all of them were old white men from World War II. And they were talking about stuff I could not relate to. But for some reason, I listened to them, and then it just clicked, man. It just clicked, and it took 4 years to click. So when I say never give up, I also talk about never giving up on the recovery part, you know, of what's not for me. So even though I'm not the traditional 12-stepper, and I don't speak like that, and I don't go to meetings every day and do all that stuff, and I don't have that kind of lifestyle right now, they taught me the lifestyle.
Right.
Because I went there for like 20 years, almost solid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you didn't give up, and, you know, there was probably times in there where you got a little squirrely.
Yeah.
And you weren't, you know, where you wanted to be.
Right.
However, you kept going.
I kept going.
You didn't give up. And the fellowship was able, and God.
Yeah.
God,
that's part of everything,
God
right?
was holding
that's like,
you there, man, you know.
That's like the unspoken
Yeah, and then
truth.
You got busy. Because there's
Right.
a lot of people, you know, unfortunately untreated addiction and
Right.
people who, really haven't done the work,
Right.
that's like the number one suicide population
yeah.
in our country. So I mean, thank God you stuck around long enough to do the work.
I stuck around long enough to realize what lifestyle I really wanted. Now, recovery is my lifestyle. It just is. Sobriety is my lifestyle. It's instinctual, and I think that's where my belief system went. It's more when you turn it into an instinct.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to stress every day. I don't want to think I can die every day. I don't want to think that, oh my God, if I don't do this today, I'm going to die.
Yeah.
No, that's not true. Once I've learned, like if I throw a ball at you right now, Kito, you're going to block it or catch it.
Absolutely.
All right. So back in the day, if I throw a ball at you when you were 5 years old, it'd knock you in the head.
That's right.
Well, you know what? You could throw whatever at me right now. I'm blocking it or catching it.
And if it hits you, it's not that big a deal.
That's fine. I've been hit.
We live with a sense
I've been
of
hit.
Ease and peace today,
Right.
Not everything's a catastrophe.
Right.
Even catastrophes
Whatever.
aren't that bad.
Whatever.
I
know where to go.
Yes, exactly.
The key is you know what to do. And so you got to go. I think you have to go long enough so that you know where to go and how to do it.
Yeah.
It's not like if I start bleeding profusely right now, it's not like I don't know to call 911 and go to the hospital.
Exactly.
I don't have to go to the hospital every day to say, hey, you know what? I bleed. Hey, you know what? I'm a bleeder, so if I do cut, I'm going to bleed. No. But when it's instinctually the call, then that's fine. And that's what I think. You get to a point in your recovery where, like, you guys have been there for me. Thank you. And now they're everywhere. I see people everywhere. So it just is what it is.
It's
man.
a cool deal.
I just hate when this disease takes us to a point where we're not really giving up on ourselves, but we think we are. But then why are you still alive?
Exactly.
Because I used to look at that semi. I used to look at the walls. Like when you're coming over an overpass, you see the walls. Man, I could just flip, and I go right into that wall.
Yeah.
And I've seen someone do it. And I remember saw someone do it. It was in front of me, and I saw the car just veer right off and go directly into the wall. Wow.
It's tough.
Wow.
I know.
And we've all experienced friends who've committed suicide. Yeah. We've all experienced people that especially if you're around the rooms in addiction. If you're around the rooms or addiction, I mean, even in recovery, people are dying and killing themselves. So it's not over just because we put it down. Because there's still so much damage that it's hard to talk about and hard to open up about, and we still can't give up.
No, we can't, and we have to stick around through the tough times, and we got to stick around long enough for the miracles to start happening, because they start happening, and it gets tough. Life happens in recovery, and we're going to experience some really difficult times, but it's really nice to know that we have a family, an extended family in the recovery community that we can talk to, that we can share with, that we can get vulnerable with, How were you getting vulnerable before you got into recovery, Louie?
Never.
Yeah.
There was no vulnerability.
No, and I've seen you vulnerable just in the short time I've known you, So that's a really cool thing to be able to get vulnerable with another human being and another man.
Because vulnerable meant weakness.
Exactly.
And
it's really a strength.
It's very much a strength. But that's the truth with everything, right? Because like I used to think that trusting somebody was a weakness.
Absolutely.
Now I know that trusting somebody is my strength.
Absolutely.
So what we used to view as strengths, and maybe they were out there. All the things that were strengths for me on the street.
Well, they were survival.
They were exactly. They're not strengths here.
Right.
Here they're hindrances, and they hurt you, and so now all the things like trust is a virtue. Like trusting someone is more of like a virtue, something very cool, something very unique, something that I can give you even though you don't give it back to me. Absolutely. Something that I can do even though you don't even deserve it. You don't have to earn my trust. I give it to you, and then if you want to destroy it, that's on you.
Exactly.
But you don't have to earn it today. Whereas back then, everything was based on everybody else. Everybody else controlled my life. They controlled my mood. You act nice to me, I'll act nice to you.
Yeah.
You do trustworthy things, I'll give you trust. It was all based on reaction.
Not merit-based, that's it.
Right.
No unconditional. Nothing.
Right. Nothing was unconditional.
Nothing in your life was unconditional.
Everything was reciprocity, brother. It's like, you give me this, I'll give you that.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything was, how can I use you right now for me, even though I wouldn't even say that sentence. That's just the reality of the situation.
Oh, and even the good deeds we did had an angle.
Right.
What was I going to get? Why was I doing that?
Right.
Why was I helping the little lady across the street? You know? There was an angle to it.
Absolutely.
Nothing was done just from the goodness of our heart.
No.
Even though we thought it was.
Right.
We
Right.
thought it was, and we're
Right.
being real good, pat myself on the back. But really, come on. What was the angle on that one, Kito?
It's so weird because back in the day, I would just pick who I'd hang around with based on either that or if you annoyed the hell out of me. But now it's based like I like good people around me because it helps me make better decisions.
Absolutely.
Like I spend a lot of time with Trinity, not just because we do the shows together, not just because he's the president of the foundation. I spend a lot of time with Trinity, who you guys also know as the Dharma Guy, because he just makes me feel better about my decisions. You know what I mean? He can challenge. Like if I have to say something, he's not a yes man. I can't be around yes men.
No.
We differ on things. We discuss things. We argue things. We have alternative opinions.
That's beautiful. Y'all are like yin yang, totally.
Like, right?
Total opposites,
Right.
but you work so good together,
Right.
And it's
Right.
good to have that yang to
Yeah.
your yin, It really is.
I'm the yang
Gotta
though,
have
right?
it.
He's the yang, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I just want to make sure. I don't know which one's the better or the worst, but yang just sounds worse.
You're the yin, Lou. I'll
I'm
give
the
you
yang. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm the smaller one. He's the bigger one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, you have to have that, and I have that in my marriage. It appears that you have it in your marriage. I mean, you know what I mean? I think, when there's mutual respect with people, you complement each other well. And I think that's the same with the world. I think that the way I approach life in the world is like that. So if the world has a lot of negativity, well, if I approach it with a lot of positivity, that's kind of yin and yang approach as well. And that's kind of how I approach it. That's how I deal with it. So if we're going to get back to never giving up, I think each day is a new challenge and new experience, but by not running on certain things in your life, by not hiding and running and melting and crumbling and just accepting a loss, you fight for other things. And in real recovery, you start fighting for other things like marriage, like relationship, like job, like friendship, like just life. Life has so many challenges that when you're doing recovery well, you find yourself striving in other areas as well. It's not just about not getting high. And I think that's what I really love about the rooms and the 12-step process is that when I used to hear people say it's much bigger than just not using, that's all I really wanted them for in the first place. I didn't know it was going to be life-changing in so many other ways. I didn't know I was going to be a better father in the future. I didn't know I was going to be a better husband in the future. I didn't know I was just going to be a better man in the future by putting that stuff down and then actively working through fixing some things about myself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Well, and I think, I like to make the universe smile, and when we live by spiritual principles
Right.
and we have the opportunity to help others and that makes God smile, man.
Yeah.
That's what God wants us to do, and that's what my higher power is all about, us giving back.
Right.
And I think it's important. And I want to go back. You were saying something, I can't remember what triggered it, but I think, the times we do want to give up is when our loved ones are there's times, or even the people we're working with, they're not real likable. and when they're in that delusional state of
Right.
addiction.
Right.
And they can say some of the meanest, most hurtful things. And it's like that Linda Blair, the Omen. It's not that person that and it's them under the influence of this delusion, this delusional disease called addiction.
Right.
And it is not them. And those are some of the times when I've wanted to give up, but I've got some training, and I know that, that loved one of mine that was saying some of the most hurtful things that they could say
Right.
weren't in their rational mind. They were, for the most part at that point, crazy,
Right.
psychotic,
Right.
certifiably. And that's when it's so hard for anybody to not push them away and say, F you, I'm done with you, washing my hands of you. And that's when they need us the most. When they're in that state and they don't want to go to treatment, they don't want any help. They don't need, if you just mellow out, F everyone, and they can say, they know what to say that will hurt you. better than
so much,
anybody,
so
you know?
much.
And that's when we kind of have to step back, and we have to love them long enough to be able to like them again, you know. And sometimes love might be that disciplinary hand, but sometimes it might be that compassionate bring you back in hand. And, you know, that's something that as a parent, you know, we have to do what we can live with and what we have to do. Sometimes it may be, you know what, you're going to go live under the bridge.
Yeah.
And other times it might be, you know what, this time we're going to have to bring you in and love you until we can like you again. And so every case is different, you know. Unfortunately, in our industry, a lot of times people think there's only one way to do this, and there's not, you know. I think there's so many variables that need to be looked at, the mental health, what's the big picture, you know. You can't just say, oh, you need to put them out on the street. That's, you know, and that's kind of...
That's just too easy.
But that's kind of the standard.
To say it. It's not easy to do it, but it's easy to say it.
And I've done it. You know, I've done it.
It's so difficult to say it. So if you're ever going to tell somebody that, you better be understanding of what you're really saying to them. And that's very difficult.
But they, you know, as a loved one, you've got to be able to do what you can live with too.
And that's what I always tell people. That's exactly what I tell people. I say, look, I could tell you what to do or what sounds like the best thing to do, but at the end of the day, you got to be able to live with that decision. So here are the options, but you got to live with it.
The harsh reality is we're dealing with life and death.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you do...
And some die.
Some die. It's not some,
and so
a
they
lot
gotta, and they got to live with that.
A lot die.
Right.
You know, I mean, we, every week, in our, you know... we see someone, another one is gone. Rest in peace, my brother, sister. And, you know, I'm tired of burying people.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm tired of it. And... so I want to do everything in my power to keep people alive long enough to get into recovery, you know, and whatever that looks like, I'm okay with it today.
Right.
You know.
Right. There's, you know, and when you say to a loved one, and when you're talking to a loved one, 'cause those are the calls that we typically get, right? Mm-hmm. You get a lot more calls from family members more than the person actually wanting to help. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times what they're asking you is it okay to be this angry? This is what they're not saying.
Yeah.
This is what they're saying, but they're not saying.
Right.
Is it okay to be as mad as I am? Is it okay to want them to almost like be gone?
Yeah.
Or be arrested?
Yeah.
Or just, I don't know how else to do it. And they feel bad for having those thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
But some of them have had those thoughts. And those are hard conversations to have with parents, because I kind of have to get right to the point and say, it's okay to feel how you're feeling. You're going to have all kinds of thoughts of wanting them to be, somehow the world give consequences other than you.
Right.
Because really what you're saying is, can someone else outside of me give consequences to this person?
Yes.
Because all the consequences I've given aren't working.
And they won't get you sober, and they won't keep you sober.
Right.
You know, they won't. That we can use them as leverage to get people into treatment and to help get them motivated, but there aren't any consequences in the world that are going to keep a real drug addict who's got the disease sober.
And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you up, but I mean, one of the realities that I've learned over you know, helping people get into treatment is one of the things that I constantly tell people is, you know, and I did this just the other day. They were saying, well, they were buying this, they were paying this, they were paying this, they're paying this. Well, at least he's got a job and he's going to work. But all the money was, you know, he's not paying rent, he's not paying his bills. Everything's getting taken away, but they have a car still, and they have insurance, and they have a job. And I said, well, the job is hurting them. Because if you think you're not buying the drugs, but you are, because you're buying the car and all the responsibilities to allow them to still go to that job to get us more money so they can get high, is what you're giving them. So you have to understand that you're still buying drugs. Mm-hmm. You don't know you're buying drugs, but you're buying drugs, and that job is killing them. And unfortunately, everything that you think you're doing to kind of keep them alive is not. And then I asked one simple question. I just said, well, does he have insurance? So like, let's say right now he turned around and says, I want help. What are you going to do? And then when they realize they don't have the financial means to help him in a real way, if he would turn around and all of a sudden say, I want help right now, give it to me right now. They don't have the ability. I said, so all that money you're spending on those bills, if you buy them health insurance, it's going to mean nothing to him. But it's going to mean everything to you when they need it.
That's right.
Because then when he turns around and says, I need help, you got a policy.
Yeah.
And I suggest you get one that has a very low deductible because more than likely you're going to use it within the next year or so.
Yeah.
And now that I don't own a treatment center, I feel a lot more comfortable saying that.
Yeah.
Because I have no dog in the fight.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
You can say that.
I can say that. But it's a reality, Kito. It's a reality. And it makes me so upset that so many of us will buy the attorney, we'll pay the bills, we'll pay for the car, we'll pay everything, and then our young ones don't have health insurance. And then you know damn well when you call these treatment centers, you said that yours doesn't say it in the first few sentences, but eventually the question is going to come out, how are you going to make this happen?
Right.
And I know as the Now Matters More Foundation, we provide some scholarshiping, and we do it at treatment centers that offer a lot of scholarshiping, but at the end of the day, none of that is free.
Right. Yeah.
You need some finances there. And man, what, then you're going to sell the car? Then you're going to, come on now. You're giving money to a car insurance company. You should be giving it to the health insurance company. You should be somehow stockpiling some money away, even if it's self-pay, because that day is going to come. But don't use it for bail. Let them sit in the jail, because that's detox.
Yes.
That's what I call detox.
Exactly.
Let them sit in detox. And then when they get out with a judge signature, treatment.
Straight to treatment.
And unfortunately, that's a hard conversation with people, because if I owned a treatment center right now, it would look like, well,
Right.
that's the ones who want to help. No, but I just know it's faster. The others have waiting lists. If you're waiting for the government to pay for treatment, you might be on a 6-month waiting list.
Right.
I deal with people that they're going to make. You think it's only one phone call? It's 2 phone calls. One, they just called you. Can you help them? No. Second is the dope man. Dope man always answers the phone and always has availability, and they'll front you.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll front a great customer.
They will.
And your loved one is a great customer. And your dope man will never give up on you, because you'll always find a way to pay them.
Because you need more dope.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how many times before rehab or treatment does somebody says, all right, but I need this money to pay off the drug dealer before I go?
Yeah. All the
How many
time.
times parents pay pay the dope man before they send him to treatment?
Yeah, all the time.
You hear that a lot
It's
too, right?
Ridiculous, yeah. Yeah.
What do
When
you
you're
say
out
to
of the
that?
game,
Kito, what do you say to that?
Oh, I'm like, no. Don't. You got to quit doing that. I mean, and,
Because it's always life and death, right? All of a sudden, it's life and death. And sometimes it can be. Trust me, if you owed me money.
Well, but I've also heard, parents, go buy them heroin before going to treatment, which sometimes I understand, but it's really,
Yeah, I don't like the heroin before treatment at all. I'd rather you want to give them a beer and drive there.
That's, yeah.
That'll resolve it.
Yeah.
To get you there.
It's tough, man. It's a tough,
but heroin can kill you that one time, so I'm not cool with that.
No, I'm not either. Trust
but
me,
I'll tell you, that one beer is not going to kill them
No.
on the way to treatment, unless it's their 15th
Yeah.
or 20th. But what will
That
kill them on the way to
gram of heroin on
treatment
the
is
way
that
to
heroin
treatment.
that you don't know about.
Yeah. No,
Now, if
they'll-
you happen to have something from the doctor that you have, I'm not going to tell you to do it, but at least you know where that came from.
Well, and that's the
a
best thing to
safer
do.
alternative.
That's the best thing to
Right.
do. If you've got to go across country, go see your doctor before you go.
Absolutely. Tell the doctor exactly what you're doing. I bet you the doctor would give something.
I guarantee you they will. Guarantee.
Most doctors have a heart like that,
Guaranteed.
man, like that.
They will.
I love how Kito keeps looking at his watch. We'll see you, Kito. I'm looking right at you, man.
Oh, sorry, man.
Keeps looking at his watch as if he's got somewhere to be over here.
Oh, it's my phone's going.
I
I
don't
got that
care about that
iWatch.
phone
It
right
keep
now,
ding,
man.
let me
If
turn it off. I'm
If
gonna
they
take it
can't
off.
survive without you right
I'm
now,
gonna turn it
Kito,
off.
you need to go have a meeting after this and tell them, you know what?
Oh, you're right, Louie. I can't give up.
Yeah, man. No, I know the deal. You have a very hard thing. All right, so we're in closure. Let's do some closure stuff. We got about a few minutes left.
I took my watch off.
Oh,
Now that we have
now that we only have a few minutes left. Well, it started going crazy on you. Do you have an Apple Watch? Is that what it is? So it's just vibrating on your arm? Yeah. So what are the final things you want to say about giving up, Kito? I mean, I'm always on the air. I can always ramble.
I just think it's so important dealing with this deadly disease to not give up and to love them through those moments when you're looking at that person and you don't even remember who they were.
Right.
And know that, recovery and being a recovered person is absolutely possible. I mean, in my case, all my friends, my family, they didn't think I could ever do it. I mean, Beetlejuice, really.
Right.
Look at Beetlejuice, you know. And
I'm loving that nickname.
I went from Beetlejuice to, you know, I would have never in my wildest dreams thought I'd be where I am today.
Right.
Ever, you know. And people, my quote-unquote friends, they gave up on me. But there was that family member and my family and my wife that didn't give up on me. And sometimes that's what it takes.
Right.
You know, and my wife, part of her not giving up was leaving me so that I would do what I needed to do. And so, you know, giving up looks different. Not giving up may look different in different situations. So just, we can't give up, man. We're talking about life and death, and people are scattered and scrambled and their brains aren't working. And even though it looks like, you know, they're being just complete assholes to us and saying things that are hurtful, that's not who they are.
Right.
And we have to be there and help them get to a place where they can be the people that they really are again, you know.
Right on.
So
or never were.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't think I'm the guy that I used to be. I think I'm a guy that I never was even before.
Hey, and that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's a beautiful
I'm
thing.
so much better now than I would have ever been should this never have happened to me.
Absolutely.
Really, you know, when I get asked, what would you do it different? I'd say absolutely not, because there's no way I would be as good of a man as I am right now. There's just no way. When I was a real little kid before 9, because I started drinking at 9, I looked at Archie Bunker. I looked at George Jefferson. I looked at Fred Sanford. Like, those are men.
Yeah.
Those were my role models. And I thought that's the way men are. From 9 to 11, I walked around, you know, all my first little experiences with alcohol and with chewing tobacco and dip and cigarettes. From 9 to 11, it was all about them. Those were I walked just like George Jefferson through my hallways, because I thought, this is how you treat women. This is how you treat people. I'm gonna go get mine.
Yeah.
And that's what, you know, that's how I got recruited in this whole deal in the first place, because I was already walking around like that. But I think if I would have kept going in that road, I would never been able to the guy I needed. I would never been the guy I needed to be for Dana or my children.
Sure. It
just wouldn't happen. So, you know, we got a trip coming up. Thanks to Serenity Springs and Kito for being a sponsor for our trip coming up to, we're going to Vegas, right, Kito?
That's
going to
right.
Vegas next weekend. So thanks to you guys, we're able to go. Thanks to our other sponsors like Journey Pure. Thanks to Retreat Premier Addiction Treatment Centers. You know, without the help of all these good programs, we wouldn't be able to do stuff like that. The number 7 Corbin Forrester, Now Matters More Foundation, number 7 Toyota Tundra is going to be running around in the world of Westgate. Thanks to Westgate for supplying the rooms that we're going to be in over there. That's, you know, you got a World of Westgate. Gave you a room.
Thank you, Westgate.
You're welcome. All right, so from all of us here on the couch side, we got to go, Kito. Any last words?
Love you guys. Love, love, love. Peace.
Right on. All right, so from all of us here on the couch live, I miss my partner. You know, I didn't have my other partner here today. Oh, look, I can't even play the outro. Isn't that interesting?
Get your producer in here.
Where's
dude.
my producer?
Come on.
Anyway, from all, adios amigos, it's time for a taco. How about that? Just goodbye, no outro. You'll hear the outro on the replay. Adios amigos, it's time for a taco. Bye.
Adios.
And that was without even a single drop of rum.
That was awesome.
He really grows on you, doesn't he?